We are human beings capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing same intelligence as any other race. You do not know Africa. Africa has been sleeping for centuries, not dead, only sleeping. These are the words of a man that inspires so many people of African descent in the diaspora, so many leaders in the continent of Africa. Today, we're going to be looking into the selecting sayings of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of For the Africans. Today, we're going to be talking about the selected sayings of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born in 1887 in Jamaica. He was the son of Malchus Mosiah Garvey Sr., a stone mason, and Sarah Jones Richards, a domestic worker. His parents had 11 children, but 9 of them died in the childhood. Only Mr. Garvey and his eldest sister, Indiana, managed to make it to adulthood. Mr. Garvey moved to England in 1912, where he worked at the office of the African Times and the Orient Review Journal. This was the first political journal produced by and for Black people ever published in Britain on a monthly basis. Mr. Garvey returned to Jamaica in 1914, and with the help of 5 other associates, he created the Universal Negro Improvement Association, or UNIA. The objectives were quite simple and clear: promote Black nationalism, fostering racial pride, advocating for cultural, political improvement of people of African descent worldwide. Mr. Garvey was a savvy businessman. He launched the UNIA first major commercial venture, the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation in New York in 1919. The objectives of the corporation were quite simple: establish an efficient mode of transportation, communication, and trade among Black people worldwide. Public invested in the corporation by purchasing stock shares at $5 each. Mr. Garvey owned several buildings and a fleet of trucks in New York alone. He had over 1,000 Black people working on his business. Mr. Garvey and his organization, UNIA, created a newspaper called The Negro World. This was a success and grew as a phenomenon worldwide, with peak circulation and production of over 200,000 copies on a weekly basis. Feature poetry, a page dedicated to Black women, a page dedicated to commentary on global issues affecting Black people worldwide. As expected, colonial authorities didn't like this, didn't approve of this. So in many countries such as Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and many other African countries, it was banned. Sadly, Mr. Garvey passed away in 1940 without ever setting his foot in Africa. Even though he didn't manage to be in Africa himself, he inspired so many leaders around the continent to bring out the revolution and the Black Renaissance, and to renew the pride of Black people around the world and African people around the continent. White and Black will learn to respect each other when they cease to be active competitors in the same countries for the same things in politics and society. Let them have countries of their own where they can inspire and climb without rancor. The races can be friendly and helpful to each other, but the laws of nature separate us to the extent of each and everyone developing by itself. This is very true. Although many of us can relate with people of other races, Black people, African people, can only advance if they unite with other Black and African people. It's quite simple. It doesn't mean that we're racist. It doesn't mean that we cannot do commerce with other nations. All it means, whilst we don't unite and work together, we will keep being divided, and the rule is quite simple: divide and conquer. We do not want all the Africans in the diaspora in Africa. Some are not good here and naturally will not be good there. Africans are divided into two groups, the industrious and adventurous, and the lazy and dependent. The industrious and adventurous believe that whatsoever others have done, it can do. The Universal Negro Improvement Association belongs to this group. And so you find us working 6 million strong to the goal of an independent nationality. Africa is the legitimate, moral, and righteous home of all Africans. This one is pretty simple and clear. Many Africans, they're not good in the diaspora, and so they will not be good back home. Many Africans are not thinking with a righteous mind. So how good can they be back home? Pretty much all they're going to be doing is bringing with them the filthiness, the destruction to the communities. We do not want that. Africans that are no good in the diaspora are not going to be good back home. We want only those things that belong to the black race. Africa is ours. To win Africa, we will give up America. We will give up our claim in all other parts of the world, but we must have Africa. We will give up the vain desire of having a seat in the White House of America, in the House of Lords in England, being president of France, for the chance and opportunity of filling these positions in a country of our own. Fact, so many people in the Western world will give up everything that they have achieved so far in order to be able to do those same things in the continent of Africa. All they're asking for is a chance to contribute for the change that we want to see in that continent. It will be useless, as before stated, for bombastic Negroes to leave America and the West Indies to go to Africa, thinking that they will have privileged positions to inflict upon the race that bastard aristocracy that they have tried to maintain in this Western world at the expense of the masses. Africa shall develop an aristocracy of its own, but it shall be based upon service and loyalty to race. The biggest example that we have on this is recently you see Burkina Faso, a leader that seems to care about his people, that is doing his best with the people that he's working with to fabricate their own products. A leader that is doing what his forefathers left a blueprint for them to follow, and is so encouraging to see. What we don't want to see is these people that are in position of power in the Western world, puppets for the system, to go back to Africa and thinking about implementing those same systems that does not respect human dignity upon the people in the motherland. We do not want that. We do not need you to go back to do that. We do not need you to save us. What we need is for people to bring the skills, the knowledge, and the passion to change the reality that we see in so many places in that continent. That's what we need. The only wise thing for us as ambitious Africans to do is to organize the world over and build up for the race a mighty nation of our own in Africa. And this race of ours that cannot get recognition and respect in the country where we are slaves by using our own ability, power, and genius, will develop for ourselves in any country in our habitat a nation of our own, and be able to send back from that country, from that native habitat, to the country where we were once enslaved, representatives of our race that will get as much respect as any ambassadors from any other race or nation. Recently, we've seen so-called president of South Africa in the United States, and we see the way that he was treated. Not only him, but throughout the years, you see all these puppets called presidents traveling to other nations, begging for help and literally humiliating themselves, which by default is a representation of those countries, of those people. If you have a land which is so rich, if you have over 50 countries that you can unite with, that you can trade with, why should you go abroad and humiliate yourself in such manner? Let's have some dignity, African leaders. The political readjustment of the world means this, that every race must find a home. Ireland for the Irish, India for the Indians, and obviously Africans are raising the cry of Africa for the Africans, both those at home and those abroad. Everywhere you go in the world right now, you see people claiming their national pride, but it seems like only Africans still struggle to see Africa as their home, and they seem to struggle to have that pride. How dare anyone tell us that Africa cannot be redeemed when we have now over 1 billion men and women with warm blood coursing through their veins? It's really hard to comprehend why some people lose the hope about changing the state of affairs that we see politically, culturally, and socially in those different countries around the continent. It is possible because we have the power in numbers. Emancipation from mental slavery can only be achieved with Pan-African education. We honor the ancestors by learning and promoting African history and culture. Thank you so much for watching, family. We'll see you again in the next episode.